TK Upshaw here with another reference to an old show, this time from the 80s. Any of you even know who Mark Curry is? Well, as you can tell from the title, this is about the mysterious MrEnter. No, not about his critiques, everybody blasts him for that, but about his growing around Indiegogo campaign. It was ambitious, and that's a good way of putting it, but I have learned from it. Well, for growing around, MrEnter had higher hopes than Shirley Feeney of Laverne and Shirley. So optimistic that he asked for $350,000. No, not to make a series, but to make the freaking pilot of Growing Around. And $20,000 was going to go to animation. Like he was Disney or something? That's the ambitious part. He wanted the best cartoon possible, but kind of overdid it. From what I hear, you don't need $20,000 to animate one episode. $1,000 to $5,000 will do. And you know, he could have asked me to animate. Well, I've done it before. I've animated somebody's cartoon idea before, and it didn't take no $20,000. Blind ambition. We've all seen MrEnter's Indiegogo campaign video. It's just a series of little sketches illustrating growing around. No real animation. I mean, if you're crowdfunding for an animated series, shouldn't you at least have some test animation? A few minutes of that? I mean, Enter would have been taken much more seriously if he did that. I mean, if he's willing to shell out $20,000 for an episode, he could shell out a few hundred for a little test video. Give him something real, a real example to show. And you know, those sketches, I could do a better job of that on a bad day. Okay, Growing Around took place in a fantasy planet Earth where kids were still kids, adults were still adults, but the kids were running everything. They ran the homes, they ran the businesses, they ran the schools, they ran the governments with chaotic and sometimes disastrous results. Now, where have we heard that one before? Oh yeah, it was either the movie Jimmy Neutron or an episode of the TV series. But in it, aliens kidnap all the parents and Jimmy and his friends go wild in the streets. Then when they overdo it, they realize maybe grown-ups do know something. Not so with Growing Around. The grown-ups are still ruled by the kids. They're the ones with the early bedtimes, and they're the ones being driven to school. Actually, MrEnter was inspired by this one failed Disney short called Flip Flop, which had the same premise. Okay, it's hard to take a tired old idea and make it new. That's why so many theatrical cartoons are about whatever does when humans aren't around. Don't make me make a list of those. You know them already. Well, MrEnter's Growing Around campaign did something right. It encouraged me to go back to making my own animation. All I got to do is get used to working with these new software, apps, and technology. And it seems that Enter has grown a sense of humor. His latest review, after a very brief hiatus, is of a live-action movie called Opposite Day, about a time where kids suddenly become adults and adults suddenly become kids. Now, where have we heard that one before? This is DK Upshaw saying, bye!